Turn that down a little bit. Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Very well.
Good, good, good. Mr. Ray, how are you? Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Good to see you. How are you? Does anybody have any questions for me? Anything at all? Any by the ways? Any what ifs? Anything?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, right now, there's a, it's the, I'm not sure is it the season, but everybody's saying it's the season of fire, right? So forest fire is almost starting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to know, is there anything that we can do to help?
Yes.
Good.
Send love.
So what, love the fire or love the forest?
All of it.
Huh?
All of it.
Because without fire, they won't be live.
There you go. Fire is the end. It's also the beginning because for each fire, there's new growth. Always.
Yeah, but it's too big, right? It's getting too big. It's like a whole, a large area that is burning. Mm-hmm. And it's another province right now, but we are kind of watching, and remember, if we put attention on something, that something's gonna grow very big.
So send it love and it'll be okay.
Okay.
Send the love and it'll be okay.
All right.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Okay. So listen, all teachers, all masters, send love to the forest.
Love to the forest. And here's how you do it. When you send the love, don't look at it, the fire, as a problem, but look at it as an experience. Because 5 years from now, you won't talk about the fire. You'll be talking about something different. Correct or right or correct?
Okay.
So when you send love, just send that vibration of love for the firefighters that's fighting the fire, for the forest, for the homes, for the lives, and the surrounding area that it be contained. Send that love. But not only send it, but feel it. Feel it in the emotion of that vibration. Because you have dominion.
Okay. So we can do it for anything, right?
You can do it for anything. Absolutely. Remember I said that every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, you have dominion over? Because you're made in the image and the likeness of God with all power. Do you remember?
Yes.
So if you have dominion over all things, then you have dominion over that because it is designed to obey you. But what people do is they point at the fire, and like you said previously, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because people talk about the problem of the fire, and each time you talk about the problem, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But nobody ever talks about the solution. They're too busy talking about the what? Problem.
So is that more
out of control? It's hard to control it. So now you have to let it take its course. So we don't talk about the problem of the fire. We talk about the solution and the experience and the blessing of the fire. Love. Why? Love never what? Fails. Oh, go ahead. Love never fails. Does that make sense?
Okay, good. Got it.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Any by the ways? Yes. And
It's weird. It's more of an experience of how I had this huge question in my head about a project that I've been working on at work, and I just did not have an answer. And yesterday, just as soon as I leave the office, when I was thinking about, hey, I still need an answer. I'm focusing on this weird problem, but I just have no idea how to do. Instead, I caught myself thinking, maybe I should think about the answer instead.
oh, wow.
And as soon as I got into the car, and as soon as I left the front gates, I was like, oh, I found the answer. And I had to stop the car, put it on reverse, get back to the parking lot, went back into the office for an extra 15 minutes just to type up what it is, and I can continue back on Monday.
Yes. Look how easy that was, though. You didn't point at the problem because you didn't point at the problem. How long have you pointed at that problem?
A month?
A month of pointing at that problem, and as soon as you switch gears, Master Mika says, don't resist this thinking, because when I'm pointing at the problem, that's a resistant thought, is it not? So as soon as you finish, you know, what if I just think about the answer? Even though I don't know what it is. Wow. Then that's where step 2 comes in. Everybody understand that? We went from 1 for a whole month of asking. I need to answer this problem, but I'm still pointing at the problem because it's a problem to me. God is saying, I already got the answer for you. But you got to get in step 3 and 4, right? So as soon as you switch the mindset, it came immediately to you. Real quickly. I love it when it happens that way. And this is how you treat the fire. This is how you treat every solution to every problem. Is that all right? Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Anyone, any questions for me? Any by the ways? All right. On page 142 of Master of Christ Consciousness, on your emails, if y'all have that. Today we'll be teaching on bringing awareness to the limiting definitions of yourself. Anybody know what that means or why we entitled that? Bringing awareness to the limiting definitions of yourself. First question, how do you bring awareness to your consciousness? Anyone? How do you bring awareness to your consciousness?
All right.
Anyone? No? All right. We'll come back to it. Question 2. Why is being aware of your conscious important? Anybody know?
Okay, why is important? Because we want change. If there is change, then you want to, then you will be, you want to, when you want to change, then you find, then you, the mind will be thinking into that direction, and you somehow you find the information, educate yourself, you know, that is the starting of the awareness.
Absolutely. So how do you bring this awareness to your consciousness? Because if you don't understand how to do it, what was the first thing I taught everybody? When everybody first met me, what was the first thing I gave you?
So we have to be in the satisfaction mode, and we have to be in a happy mode, high vibration, and that the awareness or the comes in. Now, example of the awareness is maybe the example of Anson. Okay, he has that problem for a month, you know, but he hasn't be aware of the answer.
Correct.
I think it's like that. I think it's like that.
Absolutely. And here's the simplest way. When you say satisfying thought, it's basically, like you just said, putting yourself in a happy place, but also becoming conscious of what you're thinking and what you're feeling. That's going to create your reality. Because if you're satisfied, you're going to produce what? More what? If I'm satisfied, I'm producing more
satisfaction.
More satisfaction. But if I'm not satisfied, I'm producing what? The opposite, correct? So I have to be aware of thinking to have that become my conscious. Does that make sense to everyone? In other words, the simplest way to say it is, I have to be aware of what I'm thinking. Because thoughts turn into what? Things. So if I'm thinking wrong, then that's where my awareness goes to. And then that becomes my conscious thinking. And then that's the reality that I have to play out. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe so?
Yes.
All right. So this is why it's important to bring the awareness into your consciousness, because you don't want to give that thought momentum. So if there's a problem that you're having or experiencing, you don't want to be talking about the problem. Now, let me be clear about this. We're not saying ignore the problem. We're not saying that at all. But what we're saying is don't point at it and keep pointing at it and talking about it, because it's going to do what?
Make it bigger.
Bigger. How's it going to make you feel to keep pointing at it and talking about it with no answer to that solution? Bad. Yes?
Correct.
So what we say is, once you have followed the 5 steps of asking for what you want, now step 2 is where God, Creator, comes in and gives it to you, but you have to be in a satisfying place. So I cannot keep doing what? Talking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
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 This is why it's important to bring that consciousness to your awareness, okay? So it's all about training the mind, catching the thought. Training the mind and catching the thought, okay? What are limiting definitions that people perceive of themselves? Give me some examples. Anybody?
Okay, for instance, a person who is overweight,
Yes.
he or she cannot be talking all the time about them being overweight.
Mm-hmm.
They have to bring it into the consciousness that I need to be healthy.
Right.
I need to do exercise, or how I can do to, of living healthy.
Absolutely. And we see this every single time that we encounter people. Will we all agree? Nobody comes into your existence out of coincidence. They're there for you to learn and to heal and to teach. So when people come into your sphere or into your environment, they're going to come to you with their limited definitions of themselves. In other words, they're going to tell you all the problems, right? Why? Because they know that you have a solution for them. You have an answer for them. That's why they're there for you, okay? Can you become selfless enough to learn to truly recognize that you are not influenced by anyone else's choice, and their choices do not say anything about your own? Does everybody understand that? Yes, no, maybe so, yes? All right.
No, repeat.
Okay. The question is, can you become selfless? Remember, there's a difference between selfish, selfless. Does everybody know the difference?
Yeah, the selfless is unconditional love, right?
Or yourself, absolutely. Take care, in other words, I'm gonna use this example. If I'm a doctor and I get sick, can I heal anybody who's sick? Of course not. If I'm poor, can I help anybody get rich? No. So you have to be selfless to say, you know what? Let me get in a relationship with God, right? Let me get myself together, and now I can help someone else. Because if I try to help someone else, not that this is not impossible, hear me well, but normally when we do those things and we have good intentions, when we're not in that mindset of love and it's not received the way we want it, then we judge that person based on our merits toward them. Look what I did for you, and now this is how you do me. Everybody see the difference? Your intentions is good, but is it selfish or selfish? Not that your emotions are wrong toward the situation, but is there really love there? Because that person has their own perception. So you have to be selfless enough to be in love, to take care of yourself. And here's the biggest thing: be accountable for everything that comes into your experience. Can everybody do that? Everybody say, I am the creator of my own reality.
I'm creator of my own reality.
I'm the creator of my own reality.
Thank you. Who else is on there? Everybody, but everybody gets it, right? Here's why I'm trying to get you to understand. Nobody wants to take accountability of the problems that come into their lives. So now they point at other people and they point at other things for what they brought into their experience, not realizing that experience is to teach them to wake up and to do better and do more and to be in love. Because if you learn to rejoice in trouble, then the trouble will go away, because the trouble is only temporary unless you keep doing what? Pointing at it and pointing at it and pointing at it. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe so. If I lost anybody, say so now.
Yes.
All right. So the second stage in the way of transformation requires that you begin to bring awareness to the little squiggly lines that you've drawn on the white and unlimited and perfectly unblemished canvas of your consciousness. Your psychologist would call these personalities or masks. Come to be aware of the little selves you have created. Begin to ask yourself, what am I defending? What am I continuing on a daily basis that no longer fulfills me? After all, I've been there, I've done that. How might I look upon these little cells, these little drops of foam on this temporary wave I brought forth? How might I use them differently? I wonder if I could create a brand new one. Everybody understand the questions? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, yes. All right. Why is this important? It is because of the squiggles that you've drawn. When we say squiggles, these are the monkey minds. The monkey mind that you create that comes in and you fight that thought. Okay, these are the little squiggly lines that you've drawn in your consciousness of your creation. Okay, so when we use this as an example, this is what we're talking about. So if I'm a pastor and I'm the vice president of the bank, I was born in such and such city. My parents are so and so, they have such and such a degree, except for my mom beats me. Now, here, she never beat me, but this is an example, okay? Here's people's limited definitions of why they can't move forward, okay? They have put those definitions on themselves based on other people, not that it did not happen or occur, okay? And not to dismiss any type of abuse. But here's what we're saying. The second you define yourself, you constrain yourself within the parameters that you have chosen to value. Does that make sense to everybody? Instantly, you create exactly the experience of the vibrations that are the effects of the squiggles, which is your mind. Think of those squiggles, the parameter of a little self, as the effect of certain pebbles that have been dropped into the pond of your consciousness. Once you draw the lines, certain effects flow from it. What if you were to decide to create a self that sees itself as perfectly unlimited? Can anybody see themselves as perfectly unlimited? Who cannot see themselves as perfectly unlimited?
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes? So everybody's perfectly unlimited. Say yes, Pastor.
Yes, Pastor.
Don't say if you don't believe it. Does everybody know what it means? Yes or no?
Yeah, kind of.
Brenda?
Yeah, I can feel the expansion right now. These few days.
Well, here's what we mean by that. Don't put any limitations on yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself more than somebody else could love you. Love yourself more, no disrespect, more than Studi could love you. He's your husband, he can love you, but you can only love yourself to the fullest of your own beingness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes you unlimited. Once you understand you're unlimited and you're ceaseless, now you become a deliberate creator as an ascended master. Now you begin to speak those things that you want without resistant thinking. The resistant thinking is what stops things from coming to you. So when people put limitations on themselves of, well, this is what happened on my job, and the job's fault, and this, that, and the manager and the supervisor and employees, instead of them saying, I'm taking accountability of this problem, they're doing what? Putting the problem on somebody else. Now they define themselves as being what? Limited. Because now that's what they believed in their mind. Can they move forward from that thinking? Nope. Not at all. So each morning you have to tell yourself and believe this, that you are unlimited. There's nothing you cannot do, because who does the work? God does the work. If God does the work, then it takes the pressure off of you. Yes! Yes! I like that. Now it's pressureless, right? Now, if you're unlimited, now that helps with your career, because now you have an unlimited career that's joyful and satisfying instead of a job that you hate. Big difference. Okay? When you start thinking unlimited, now your abundance and your finances become to get better and better and better because you're not having limited believing of, I'm working this hard job and I'm getting paid little money and I can barely survive. That's a limited belief. When you're unlimited, you say, I am unlimited, ceaseless wealth, abundance, and prosperity. Does that make sense? Okay. Instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna jump down. You see where it's in bold on page 143? I am perfectly unlimited being, and I think I will create a self who is an expression of the unlimited what? Love of Christ. I'm going to go to see this human being. You might use their name. Do not call them your mother or somebody who's offended you. And I'm going to utilize time to bring as much love to them as I can for no other reason than it will feel rather grand to do so. I'm an embodiment of Christ, and this one may not know it, but that does not matter. I can enjoy it anyway. In other words, you can hate my guts all you want. I'm still going to love you, and you can't do anything about it. Make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Everybody caught that?
Mhm.
So, do you see how that could begin to move you beyond an identification of certain definition of yourself that has actually locked you into a narrow set of parameters which can only have certain kinds of effect? But what we're trying to do is get you outside of your limited believing and get you outside of thinking that whatever is asked is given. Okay? What if you were to sit down with those you call your parents and deliberately chose to look at them as beings that you've called into your field of awareness? What if you chose to see that they are infinite and free beings in perfect equality with you? They simply chose to receive your cosmic color and took on a certain role in space and time to help you play out what you wanted to learn. This is what it means to be an ascended master, because it's about remembering. Once you remember, then you become the teacher. Okay? And as you begin to teach, those teachings help people get healed, and out of the healing, there's restoration. Okay? But you have to begin to shift your identification with them as merely parents. For if you look upon them and say, those are my parents, you have defined yourself as only their child, do you begin to see the significance? It's very, very important to bring awareness to that. You have been given yourself and keep insisting upon each and every day. That is like dropping the same pebble into the same stream and creating the same effects, and nothing is transformed. It's like doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting the same result. That's called what? Insanity. Everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
It also brings up some what? Fear. Your egoic mind will ask, what would happen if I let go of the definitions that I'm familiar with? Here's the answer. Nothing will happen, because in reality, those definitions have never truly limited your unlimited self from going on, creating, and experiencing throughout all dimensions. The only change that could be said to occur is that the tiny ray of your beingness is currently dancing through the body, mind, space, and time. This is where you begin to open up your awareness, and when you become happy. Okay? This is why I emphasize meditation and rejoicing in trouble so much. Okay? If you want to experience the experience of walking on this planet as an enlightened master, first come to understand the foundation upon which the way of transformation is based. Second, bring awareness to the definitions of yourself that you have become unconscious for you, and then deliberately redefine yourself as you enter into your field of experience. In other words, anybody know what that means? If not, let me explain it. If everybody's good, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the nub. No one can make the decision for you. I've never enlightened anyone. I've never even so much lifted them an inch. I've never chosen an unlimited for myself, whose spirit's task. Jump down into where it says, imagine one who goes to swim in the waters of the pool, which has certain parameters, each made in 40 or your feet in length and size, maybe 200 feet in length. It doesn't matter. There's still a certain volume of water, and in that field in which you swim, that field of water is the field of your consciousness. It is shaped by the boundaries you choose to draw. What we mean by that? Anybody ever had a fish bowl or a fish tank?
Not really.
How big will the fish get based on the tank, correct?
Oh, yes, yes. Mhm.
So the water of your mind has to be an ocean, not a little fish tank. Okay? The very same could be saying I'm much too grand to swim in a big pool like that. I believe I'll put a little body on an airplane and fly to the grand ocean to swim in the midst of unbound by a box. This experience of that swimming is much different. Your consciousness is exactly like that. All that you experience from the moment you awaken in the morning until the moment you awaken in the morning again, because there is no downtime, everything you see, everything you experience is the direct result of where and how you have drawn the lines on the blank canvas of consciousness. And you are free at any time to erase them and draw differently. This is why we always say, renew the what? Mind. Change your thinking. Change your thinking. If it's not a satisfying thought, do what? Change the thought. The way you change the thought is to create and tell a better feeling story. Okay? Never say, then you have discovered something, rather than to say, I'm experiencing the effects of certain lines I've drawn in the infinite field of my being, and they are perfectly okay. You notice that we never say trouble. How many of you have ever heard us say trouble? Nobody. We've always said you're doing what? Going through an experience, because that's all it is. If you call it trouble, does that feel satisfying? Satisfying, not satisfying?
Not satisfying.
Not satisfying. Does it feel better to say I'm going through an experience? Satisfying, not satisfying?
Satisfying.
Everybody agree, disagree?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to. Everybody's going to experience it differently, okay? Go ahead.
No, sometimes we tell the kids like, it's just something you have to learn how to do better or manage.
Mhm.
Because around all of us, we are dealing with kids, right? So the kids are very afraid of something difficult.
Mhm.
So we'll tell them that it's something that you have to learn and how to handle and how to do better. That's it.
Right, right. And here's how they have to see no fear in us. They have to see us going into unknown parts with no fear. That way they're able to say, you know what? Mom did it, dad did it. I'm going to go ahead and do it because at the end, they're okay. They came out okay. Now, here's the biggest thing. Now we start teaching our children to have the relationship with God. Now they begin to trust God, and now he can direct their paths. Does that make sense? Because he's directing our paths. So if we influence and teach them, now remember this, words don't teach. Why? Don't put your hand in the fire, and they do what? Put their hands in the fire. Life is a great teacher. They're not going to get everything, and they'll get some things. So you have to be always in that place of love and always in that place of experience and never say trouble. Because they're free-spirited and they're experiencing their own, and this is how they're growing, okay? All right, let's jump down to the end of 145. You can read the rest of it in between, okay? Which experience do you prefer? The contradicted awareness within two small squiggles of an infinite canvas of radiant light? Or do you freely choose the creation of what you create? I create what I create, and I'm happy with what I create. Don't call it good, don't call it bad, because it's what? An experience. If it doesn't feel good to you, then you have to do what? Change the experience, change the thought, change the emotion of it. Find a better feeling thought about it. The way of transformation begins when you deciding what you're most committed to. It requires bringing awareness to every set of definitions you have adopted about yourself and placed as an overlay upon it. It culminates in transparency of the body, mind, self, the little ray of light you think you are, so that even while that continues for a little while, it is permeated by an awareness, okay? And then that becomes your identity. When I was very young, a teenager, I had very bad acne. They used to call me pizza face, and it hurt my feelings. So my esteem was very low, so I didn't feel like I could talk to any pretty girls or any girls at all because I was pizza face. So that became my permeated awareness, and I had to say, you know what? I cannot let them define me. I have to feel good about me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that, I'm gonna tell you, is probably one of the most difficult things to do, because people don't know how to love themselves. Once you learn how to love yourself, unlike how your parents and your spouse or your mate or your friends can love you, once you learn how to love yourself, truly love yourself, then I had to say, you know what? I'm happy being pizza face. Pizza's great. Everybody loves pizza. You can go over to the planet and get some pizza. And everybody wants a slice of this good pizza. Right? Mm-hmm. I had to pump myself up and make myself do what? Believe that, but not only believe that, emotionally come into alignment to say, you know what? I love myself enough to not let anybody put a devalue on me because they don't know me. And once they got to know me, I was no longer pizza face, I was scared. And then anybody who called me pizza face, they went to my what? Defense. Hey, that hurts his feelings. Why would you say that? If you're supposed to be his friend, you don't do that. But I had to change first. You see the difference? I had to change first for other people to accept that change and defend that change. That's part of the awareness that we're talking about, okay? All right. Jump down to, you are then, our Christ, planning the world unlimited, unfettered, unvictimized by anything. Say, I am unvictimized.
I'm unvictimized.
In other words, you refuse to be a victim, okay? Today, each one of you will never be a victim unless you allow yourself to be a victim. So I want you to tell yourselves, I choose not to be a victim. Okay? I choose not to be, and you have to believe not being a victim, because if you become a victim, you will continue to get victimized. Okay? Love comes, it is free. Love seems to be open to whomever comes into your consciousness, for you decide how you will be in relation each moment, and you never discover something out there that is right. You simply create the structure of your what? Experience. This keeps you out of judging, okay? Whenever another says to you, well, I like to eat meat, I love my steak raw and bloody on my plate, and you've been eating nothing but fruits and vegetables, there is no reason to say anything at all. Just smile, decide that you can beam them love, not because they're doing something wrong, and if you love them, they might change, but because their decision does not mean what? Anything.
This we can relate, we can resonate very well.
You won't get this now, you'll get it later. I always tell you that.
This paragraph really resonates.
But it's the truth. I know it's a lot of wordings, but it's to help you understand the full story of what we're experiencing in our every single daily lives. This is what we are dealing with, people that are, including ourselves, then we have to go through the experience, right? And this is just a description of their own experience. So just because you're a vegetarian, you can't condemn everybody who eats meat, right? If you identify yourself as a pure vegetarian, you will not be able to prevent yourself from judging your brother or sister. And where judgment abides, you have created separation. And for a moment, you lose the presence of love. When you become selfless enough to learn to truly recognize that you are not influenced by anyone else's choices. Their choices do not say anything about your own. You are free to embrace your experiences as being wholly self-created out of perfect innocence and perfect playfulness. You have the free use of time to generate experience. Questions, comments, concerns? Are we finishing early? Questions,
Yeah.
comments? Go ahead.
No, in Asia, if you know, the minorities are the minority will be the vegetarians. So we used to be well, we were being looked down on. So so we were the lower stupid people.
Right. Right. Everybody would make the jokes. Oh, you eat rabbit food. Oh, you all that stuff.
No, you eat grass. You're like the cow.
But look at what that did. Look at what that did. That drew the line of separation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better than you from my perception because I'm this way and you're that way. And now there's no love there. There's no mutuality. There's no nothing. Now there's you pointing at me and I'm pointing at you. And now we're trying to define each other instead of saying, you know what, I can love you with all the bloody meat you eat. Love you just as much as whatever you want to eat. Because what you do has no effect on me whatsoever. Okay? And once we understand not to draw that line and say, you know what, hey, it's okay for them to eat meat. That's
Yeah.
good, and it's okay.
Well, we hope they can accept us, but at that time they don't understand. So that was okay. So we just continue doing our own thing. And now we go to Canada. We have a majority of people who are vegetarians or vegans.
Right. And you're going to see more people converting over back to that.
Mm.
The more people are starting to awaken and the more spiritual, the more becoming vibrating in love, then they'll kind of decrease from eating those things. But people will go into their own, they will go into their own experience of doing it. In other words, everybody will go into their, in other words, here's a good example. I grew up all my life eating meat, every type of meat, because of the culture. But at a certain point, my body started rejecting meat. So the more my body started rejecting meat, I had no choice but to become vegetarian.
Okay, Pastor. Okay, you are it's exceptional that your body is rejecting it, but there are people who still do not see it, even though they have a lot of sicknesses as a result of that, you know, of eating meat. They still continue whatever that, you know. It seems that they are not aware that that should change.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, let's look at a bigger scope. The society, the society has, I mean, look at the statistics of the food that we feed to the animals, because humans, I mean, people need to eat meat, right? According to them, all right? And because and they are, I mean, humans, I mean, scientists continue to continue to find scientific ways of how to grow their crops better, bigger, more in abundance, or whatsoever, right? Now, this is the thing. The humans, the people, because of eating meat, and they are they're causing a lot of problems, health problems in them, you know, because of their desires. All right. How we can influence that?
Be yourself.
I mean,
Because remember this, I always say this, you can't change people and you can't do what? Change the world. People have to be willing to change themselves. Even though we might think what's best for them, at the end of the day, they have free will to choose what they want. So the best way is to say, you know what? Here's what a healthy body looks like. And I'm gonna send you so much love out of this healthy body without pointing at what you're doing. And I'm not even gonna talk about what you're doing because I love you just who you are and how you are, and whatever you put in your body makes no difference to me because we're in perfect love right now. That's how you change.
okay.
That's how you influence them.
If those are the people that we care about, I mean, you know, our family members, right? Our good friends, close friends, you know, and I mean, they continue doing that things, you know, and they suffer. According to me, is they're suffering. Of course, I have no feeling about that because I don't feel the pain. I don't have to go through whatever they're going through, definitely. But we see that, you know, we see that if we meet them or if we, you know, and we wish that their difficulty will stop or their suffering will stop, you know, only if they are conscious about it and making change about it, all right? Now, how we can don't feel that. You see, look, if we put it ourselves in a neutrality, we probably will lessen, you know, make diminish the feeling, the empathy for them, right? However, if we are in a neutrality, all right, the love for them that we have is going to be lesser. Is it? I mean, I feel that the feeling for them is lesser. It's.
Well, here's the thing. If it feels lesser, then you judge them. And here, the whole lesson today was not to judge them. There's a difference between being empathetic and judging, because if I'm truly in love, then it doesn't matter what you do, because this is their experience. And I have to accept their experience. How much love can I show them during their experience? You have to remember, because you cannot change them. You can't change people, you cannot change the world. The more you try, the more you're going to lose your mind, I promise you. So, yes.
So the way we tend to love people is that I think we put a condition on our love, right?
Yeah.
Attach it to something else. I love you more if you are doing, you know, whatever I want you to do.
Studying, doing this, getting good grades, blah, blah, blah. Those are conditional loves. Instead of saying, Ray, I love you just for who you are, period. Makes no difference what background you came from, what you've done, who you've done it to, doesn't matter, because I love you. At the end of the day, remember this, everybody knows what they need to do. If their inner being is pointing at them and guiding them and have not called them, you're not going to be able to call them either. That's the truth.
So in this case, are you saying that anybody that comes into our sphere, okay, because we should think for ourselves, is this what we attracted?
Yep.
What we attract? Or is it because they come to us because they're looking for solution?
Both. You called them because you want everybody to be healthy, so they send you all the unhealthy people. They want to be healthy, but they're not going to say I want to be healthy, so here you are. So now they get to see a healthy body, and you get to go through the experience. They get to reject you, and you get to be mad at them. But we don't say we're mad at them. We just say, why aren't you doing this? Because I told you that. This is the best advice. My body feels good. It feels lighter. It feels healthier. Blah, 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 blah. And they might say, man, I just love a T-bone steak with some steak sauce, medium rare, nothing like it. This is what I live for. Are you going to change that mindset? No. But can you love them for where they are? Absolutely. Oh, hold on. Yes, Mama Rose. Oh, go ahead.
The Canada people talking about minority, vegetarian, and all that. I heard all that, but chip in because my children also were told chocolate in London. They said, "Oh, you are a chocolate." So my children need to come and try. Say, "Oh, mommy," they say, "we are chocolate at school." So I said, "Oh, don't worry, chocolates are nice. We eat chocolate, don't you?"
Right.
So they said, "Yeah, yes, we eat chocolate." So I said, when they say that to you, tell them, "Yes, I am chocolate, and it's a beautiful color, and I eat chocolate. You also eat chocolate." So you'll be fine.
That's
So
right.
that's how I made them feel better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But they did talk to them. The principal talked to those children that please don't label other children.
Right. Right.
Because my children were also about to say, "Oh, they are also pink colors. They're like a pink." I said, "No, don't say that.
Right.
Just leave them because God will decide." And the headmistress has already told them, so don't worry.
Right.
So that's how we solved that one.
And you did it in love. You didn't go down there and degrade them. You stayed in love. And that's the whole thing. When we see people that are opposite of us, we have to be mindful to stay in love.
Yes.
Okay? Absolutely. So here's what we're saying. Try your best to meet that person where they are in love. They already know that they have a problem. Do you think they really need a reminder of them having a problem? No. And if they're not conscious of it and you bring it to them, here's a couple of things that might happen. I could be wrong. One, they get offended because in their mind, they're thinking nothing wrong with me. I'm okay. Why are you attacking me? In your mind, you're going, I'm being empathetic. I'm caring for you. I just want the best for you. See the difference? Now they're thinking you're trying to take away my freedom and you're trying to steal yours. But if you show them where you are and just be in a place of mutuality of relationship, then all that other stuff will not matter and should not matter. Their experience that they have to go through. And you'll know, here's the thing, you'll know who's going to be influenced and you'll know who's going to not reject it. You'll know. Have everybody experienced that before? You give somebody advice and you know for a fact they weren't going to take that advice and they nodded to you and went, okay. Yes?
Yeah, they're gonna leave.
Absolutely. So it's easier to just try to love that person. Love them for where they are. You're not going to change a lifetime overnight. They have to see it. It's a process. You have to learn it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And you have to accept that if that person does not want to change, you have to be okay with that. Everybody get that? You might not like it, you might not accept it, but that is the harsh reality because you can't change it. Because guess what that person will do? That person will say, oh, you're too pushy, you're too imposing, and each time I come around, all you talk about is vegetarian, 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 my health, my health, my health, and how unhealthy I am, so I don't want to be around you. Now you've pushed away a possibly good friend from a mutual relationship because of the division of a perception. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns?
You haven't? No?
This is why we practice the 30 days of unconditional love, to love them regardless of what they do or what they say. Remember that, okay? So the affirmation for this week: I am balanced in all aspects of my life, and I am the attractor of my every experience. Those new leaders are coming to you for love, not for you to change it. Those people who are depressed are coming to you so you can show them love. Those people who are going through issues and trials are coming to you so you can do what? Show them love. Out of that love, you will get the solution to helping them with their problems. I promise you. Don't point at the problem with them. Never point at the problem with them, because it does no good. All good? Everybody?
Good.
Too heavy?
No.
All good?
I guess I'm just trying to digest and then have a plan how to apply it.
Okay. Meditate.
Yeah, we have to process it and how we can apply it to our everyday experience, because every day, all the time, whether it's professional, on the professional level or on the personal level, on the spiritual level, we meet all these kind of people all the time, and it really makes me wonder why I'm meeting all this. This is because I'm attracting it, something that is in my mind that I'm thinking, or it's because they are there to give us a lesson or for us to heal them.
All of the above. All of the above.
And when you say all of the above, it makes it harder. I feel that right now I'm hard to identify which is which. Because unfortunately there are always people out there that wants to take advantage of you. All right, so we have to identify that which is I feel that it's harder because they're coming in as ordinary people.
Right.
We do not know their intention. Their true intention with us.
But you brought them.
Huh?
You brought them into your experience.
I brought them?
Absolutely. We all bring those into our experience because we are the creators of our reality. So you have to say, I brought that person, whatever it might be, into my experience so I can learn. What am I learning from this lesson? Because if I have not learned love, not to be taken advantage of or a pushover or being perceived as weak or anything like that, but to say, you know what? When I'm in love, true love, I can get discernment and understand. Because have you ever been around a person that just didn't feel right even though they looked okay?
Yeah.
So what in your spirit set off the vibration of, okay, this person looks okay, but something's off with him?
Yeah.
This is the same thing when you're in love, because you're in love with yourself and say, you know what, I'm caring for myself and this doesn't feel right. So now, based on this is how I choose correctly. Instead of, okay, I trust you because you look okay. You got a good smile. You got whatever. But then in your spirit, you know they're rotten. So you have to use Revelation and discernment. Discernment is using that inner knowing of your knowing. When people call me and say, Pastor, what does my guide say about this? I said, what is your first instinct? Because really, your first instinct is the exact same thing I'm going to tell you that your guides have already told you. Always. Does that make sense? So it's not to be pushed over or taken advantage of, but to use this gift when you meditate to learn how to discern those things. Because the discernment comes from the vibration, from the feeling that you get, that you have to learn to trust. Men call it gut instinct. Mothers call it mother's intuition. You have to trust that, but the only way you're going to get that place is to meditate and stop the resistant thinking of the mind. Once you get to stop the resistance of the mind, now everything is clear. Now you see the clear intentions of that person. Now you have the solution to whatever might be a possible problem. But if you don't meditate before, then you go into it with all these questions and concerns and fear underlying in each one of them, even though you might not say I'm in fear, but then there's some type of worry because you don't know the outcome of it. So now you self-defeated yourself. So now that's when people begin to take advantage of you because they feel that vibration coming from you because of the uncertainty. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns, my creators, my ascended masters? All good?
Good.
All right, Ray, nice meeting you. Hopefully it wasn't too much. Hopefully we'll meet again.
Thank you.
Love you. Pooh Bear, love you.
Thank you, Pastor.
You're very welcome. You guys have a blessed week. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.